And we are so happy that you're all here to celebrate the class of 2023 and join us in showing our gratitude towards everyone who has supported us throughout our journeys.
Each one of you has made your mark on our story in a unique way, whether that meant studying intensely for the past 4 years or showing your support every Friday night in the student section. In every way, you all inspired our theme for tonight, Haven Palooza.
To symbolize how each of your distinct roles has been instrumental in all of our achievements, we invite you to enjoy the different sounds of music that have brought us all together over these past 12 years.
As we take you through each stage of our festival, we hope to showcase how you all have become the soundtrack to our success. Okay, ready? Haven Palooza.
Our festival opens in elementary school. For our most successful students, this obviously means West.
I think you mean NPE.
We'll see about that later.
Let's just keep walking.
She knows I'm right. We then travel to the main stage, the epitome of prepubescent telenovela level drama, aka Strath.
Thank goodness we survived that.
Yeah, we don't really need to relive that one.
You're right. Okay, next we get to the important part, the headliner. I heard they're covering post-bridge crossing, how to survive sans locker breaks, adult kind of stuff.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so we were all geared up, ready for the show to begin. With our first finals and frosh behind us, we could hardly contain our excitement for what was about to take the stage in front of us.
But then they gave us 2 days off for a set change, someone totally messed something up, and we got stuck with the longest intermission ever.
You guys all know this part, but we'll cover the highlights. Your teacher realizing they were on mute 20 minutes into the lesson, a new crazy schedule every other week, and doing pathetic excuses for push-ups on camera in front of your entire gym class. Did I miss anything?
Well, masked sports games, masked performances, online marching band? That was pretty brave.
Great, I think that covers it. Well, the intermission ended and we glided through the rest of high school.
We rocked it at prom
With the best DJ Strathaven has ever seen.
He really made his mark that night. After sleeping until 2 p.m. to recover from after prom, we slowly regained our footing, making our way to the last set of the night.
And now tomorrow is our greatly anticipated finale where all of our stars will make their final performances.
So as we look back on our set list and applaud all of the performers, we invite you to allow this discography to take you back through our journey and join us in commemorating the wonderful class of 2023. We hope you enjoy the show.
Standing up here today, 7 years later, makes elementary school seem like it was an eternity ago. Overloaded with schoolwork, sports, and other activities, our lives have all become just a bit more complicated and overwhelming. Which is why it is important to take a step back and think about the times when life was simple with nothing to worry about. This morning, we had the opportunity to return to West for the grad walk and relive our time there. Seeing the murals we helped make and visiting the classrooms we once learned in brought back a flood of memories of all the good times we had at West.
Our time at Wallingford Elementary School was just that, filled with field days, holiday parties, and memories that will last a lifetime. And yes, of course, between multiplication tables, spelling tests, and constructing our own ecosystems out of soda bottles, we did learn some stuff too. We invite you to take a short trip down memory lane with us as we reflect on all the meaningful experiences we had at West that made all of us the young men and women we are today. Before we begin, if you were a part of the wonderful group of kids that went to West, or if you are a West faculty member, please stand up.
Thank you. Beginning first grade was a big step, coming from kindergarten to a brand new school start. Our amazing principal, Dr. Milgram, welcomed us with open arms, taking a personal interest in making sure we were all adjusting to our new environment. The playgrounds in first and second grade were ruled by the horse girls. They galloped around at recess and asserted their dominance with a loud whinny and a feigning charge. We quickly learned that if you got on the bad side of one, you're going to have to deal with the whole herd. Every Friday, the entire first grade class would meet in the cafeteria for a hoot, a fun time of singing songs with Mr. Sweeney, leading the whole thing from his stool up front, guitar in hand. I still remember the most fun song to sing, Johnny Appleseed. At the end of the year, the West League began, and we all wrote our names on a brick of the school that was soon to be torn down. Starting second grade, half the building was closed down for construction. Once the building was completed, our school looked like a hospital. It was cool, except for one thing. There was no auditorium or separate cafeteria. We ate lunch, played dodgeball, and watched the annual talent show all in the same room. Speaking of the talent show, who remembers Massimo absolutely shredding the guitar? We all thought he was just playing a recording, but really he was just a child prodigy. The new school was cool, but of course the new playground is what we were really excited about. One of the most memorable days of recess was during one of the hottest days of the year, and in the span of 30 minutes, 3 of our peers fainted. Luckily, everyone was okay except for Riley, who had to be taken to the hospital so he could get his head stitched back together. Mrs. Carr's milk and cookie stand and lemonade stand was a highlight of every grade, but especially second, because those kids who were lucky enough to be in our class got to run it. From handing out pretzels to the dreaded task of cleaning up after the whole thing, it taught everyone life lessons.
In third grade, we finally got to move up to the second floor of the school, where the older kids roamed, the Oxford University of West. Around that time, after-school soccer really started to get serious. Everyone wanted to side with the tree, fittingly named Woody, that doubled as an extra goalie, and we quickly learned to steer clear of that massive cinder block wall that encircled the field. Heroes were made on that half-dirt, half-grass field, but we realized the games were getting a little too intense when Harry Heiser broke his collarbone. Mrs. O'Neill eventually had to make red and yellow cards out of construction paper to control us, and trust me, she had no problem throwing kids out of the game. The Turkey Bowl and Final Fourth was something every young elementary student at West looks forward to. As fourth graders, it was our turn to play in front of the whole school. Somehow, I got selected as captain of the Eagles team, even though I had next to no knowledge about football. Although it may not have been the finest displays of football or basketball, we sure did have a blast. Fourth grade was also the time that the infamous 5-paragraph essay was introduced to us. Some might know it as the TDA. That was a very dark day for most of us. Intro, 3 body paragraphs, conclusion, that haunting sentiment we've carried with us all these years. And although we met almost every obstacle our teachers threw at us, none of us could have been prepared for the nightmares caused by that black ink spewing from Felix Zhao's mouth after his pen exploded during Mr. Sweeney's math class.
5th grade was finally our time. We were the big kids on campus, and between the wetlands trip, dance celebration, and the ropes course, we had the time of our lives and grew closer together as we prepared for the next big step. One thing that particularly stands out from that year was taking the train into Philadelphia, splitting up into groups, and collectively buying out nearly half of the supply of the Franklin Fountain ice cream shop. You can't forget the jawbreakers that were bigger than our head and the chocolate-covered bacon too. Of course, the highest honor in 5th grade was earning the esteemed position of safety officer and getting to wear the fashionable neon yellow and orange sashes on the bus. This year, we were also introduced to one of the greatest TV series of all time, Liberty's Kids. Somehow, the whole grade was squeezed into one classroom and binge watched episode after episode. Day by day, it was evident we were getting older, and it wasn't just because everyone kept telling us how much taller we'd grown. Kids were really starting to stink after recess, and the whole grade was rounded up to get the talk and watch the video. Except for Ben Baca, who hid in a closet and we haven't seen since. We also got to witness our grade's first fight at school between Malachi Johnson and his stepbrother Kalani over their shared love for Zara Bryant. And while we're here, I want to give a big shout out to Ms. McGaffin and Mrs. Smith for letting our classes be the only ones who got to do bombardment every Friday. By the end of the year, it was time to say goodbye to line leaders and cabooses, scheduled snack time, and especially the infamous homework table. As we all stood at elementary school graduation in our matching tie-dye shirts, we couldn't have felt more prepared to take on middle school.
Sitting here tonight, we all have our own road to pave, our own goals to reach, and our own ambitions to fulfill. Wherever life takes us, we will be sure to always keep in mind the people who helped to get us there along the way. The teachers and staff at West helped to shape our lives, and without them, none of this you'll see tonight, the speeches, musical performances, vocal performances, and more, would have been possible. Thank you to everyone who played a role during our time at Wallingford Elementary School. Your legacy will carry on with us as we will always remember that West truly is the best.
I'm Seth Carr, and I am optimistic.
I'm Reese Holtz, and I am tenacious.
I'm Sophie Curson, and I'm effervescent.
We are SRS. We'd like to begin by taking a moment to acknowledge the amazing students who attended SRS not so long ago. If you went to SRS, please rise to be recognized. You may be seated. SRS has and always will be such a special place to all who have walked through those vibrantly colored halls. I personally admire the SRS community because it truly produces far more than just smart and academically driven students. SRS fosters good, kind people who care about the world beyond just the school walls. We'd like to preface that SRS is the best elementary school in the district. As a class, we produced 3 outstanding actors, Archie Bracegirdle, Ella Grossman, and Natalie Caputo. As well as 2 of Haven's best dancers, Emma Way and Mia Tran. In addition to that, we have many talented athletes, Jameson Suero, Alexa Brown, Anthony Crawford, and Nora Chen. Not to mention, we produced a phenomenal and beloved artist, Weenie Kenny, as well as the world's best DJ, Sammy Karp. Let's not forget about your favorite class clown, Noah Weiss. Yup, all SRS kids. There are many more we could mention, but naming each and every one of them would probably take up the whole time limit for this speech. From the get-go, SRS was very welcoming, both because of the staff and the students. It was a fun environment and a great place to learn, fostering curiosity and enthusiasm. There were some things that took some getting used to, for sure, like using pencil sharpeners. Shout out RJ, hope your finger's doing all right. And signing up for lunch in the mornings. To this day, I don't think I have ever experienced the fear I felt when approaching Miss Peggy to tell her I didn't have food. And the knowledge of the resulting cheese and pretzel sandwich I would have to choke down later on. But we mastered the lunch system along with many other things, experiencing the success we were slated to acquire early on in the form of marble parties. Although most SRS staff were beloved by all and supportive of our endeavors, a few were preying on our downfall, namely the lunch aides. I don't think Swarthmore moms have ever banded together for a cause as important as stopping the terror implemented in the lunchroom in the form of the traffic lights monitoring our volume. An annual 3rd grade highlight that we can all look back on with fond memories is African dance. The few weeks spent learning the dances and listening to music were a blissful break from the monotony of 3rd grade cursive lessons. The 4th grade teachers, although great at fostering an interest in science and the history of the nation through the PA weekly newspapers, were not without controversy. Mrs. Buechler had a knack for scaring children, both through psychological torment and physical threats, in the form of an inflatable baseball bat. Every kid has a literal sob story from her class. SRS gave us a sturdy foundation that helped shape us into the people we are today as we flourished throughout the years. We all grew at different rates in elementary school, but there were 2 pivotal moments in every child's development. The day you realized you were taller than Mrs. Gennaro, and the day you stunk enough to prompt the deodorant lecture from Mrs. Straley. And finally, although niche, I have to give a shout out to the Dead Carcass Club. Looking at you, Emma and Claire, I hope to see it rise from the ashes now that we're free from the tyrannical reign of Miss Corson. I mean, what teacher wouldn't allow their students to play gruesome-themed games on the playground?
Speaking of Miss Corson, I know what you all are thinking. Is that the star of her 5th grade play? The answer is no. I didn't get the part I wanted. The truth is, though, SRS taught us that with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. This was most evident when it came to recorder karate, as I watched kids arrive early before school to practice hot cross buns and other songs so that they could obtain their black or teal piece of string to tie around their recorder. Although I never got past an orange belt,
The tenacity of people like Nick Hardy and Mia Tran was truly admirable. SRS was a joyous time, from intense games of tag on the big toy, talent shows filled with just different groups of people performing the cup song, to Dr. Tuck's musical performances. You never knew what kind of day you were going to get. At times, it even felt like a bit of a magical place, as although we were never quite able to actually catch a leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day, it always left us a shiny gold coin to remember it by. Anthony Crawford still claims he saw and caught one, but has no proof to back it up. While SRS was a special place to learn, it was certainly not without its drama. Archie and Devin's relationship blossomed in this course's last year. And who could forget when Luke Devonventura sold his grandma's engagement ring so that he could propose to Hannah Eveling. Some of the scariest times were when all eyes burned onto Harry Paget in anger after he begged Miss Corson for yet another 5-paragraph TDA essay. I'll never forgive you. Let's also not forget that SRS produced Haven's QB1 and baseball star, Sam Milligan, who, a great athlete, won the Sportsmanship Award in 5th grade. But if anyone got to see him in Mr. Kane's class, I think they would have to disagree. Nonetheless, I wouldn't have wanted to go anywhere but SRS, as the kids and teachers there really made it such an amazing environment to learn and grow.
We began this speech with the words we used to describe ourselves at our 5th grade graduation. Now, with our high school graduation fast approaching, we wanted to ensure we gave credit to our SRS roots for serving as the foundation that enabled us to grow and blossom into the group we are today. We want the SRS kids to know that although we are now grown, our ties to SRS will always be there to support us. Even though we've outgrown games of tag on the big toy, quarter karate, and cops and robbers, us SRS kids will always have each other's backs. Our SRS community and experiences have propelled us along the infamous road to success, and we're immensely grateful to have grown up alongside the best people in the best place. Thank you.
We would like to recognize the incredible students who attended Nether Providence Elementary and contributed to many memories that shaped our childhoods. So this time, would all NPE graduates please stand? I actually had a joke prepared about Commemoration taking place in Strath at the amphitheater, and it segued straight into making fun of SRS and West. But thanks to Canada, it doesn't really apply anymore. But I think we're going to make fun of SRS and West anyways. And what better way to do it than by looking at their mascots? Start with SRS. A panther, so unoriginal, just like every one of their students. And the West, raccoons? Are you serious? Out of every animal on Earth, you picked the raccoons. At NPE though, we're the dolphins. Known for being smart, I'm not gonna get there. Known for being smart, joyful, and playful. Anyways, as we prepare to embark on new chapters, let's remember how we started our stories. As little dolphins in a vast sea, unaware of the countless opportunities and experiences that awaited us in years to come. Over 6 years ago, after graduating as a group, we bravely walked through those middle school doors, entering a world with 3 times the number of people, 8 times the classes, and of course, a new mascot to get behind. Sure, we may have swam off in different directions, made new friends, and explored new interests, but we remained NPE Dolphins at heart, shaped by the teachers we had along the way and the lessons we learned together. So, let's take a swim down the good old coral reef, and if you think that's the last dolphin reference of the night, you're dolphinitely mistaken.
Who can forget Miss Jackie? Her laugh was contagious, her smile never disappeared, and most importantly, she was a friend to all. And what about Mr. Keener and his endless words of encouragement, assuring us that although our musical efforts may have at the time been underdeveloped, one day they would provide comfort and joy to others.
Even more though, we should look forward to the inevitable moments in life that Mr. B and Miss Urban have so thoroughly prepared us for. Personally, I feel secure knowing I can square dance at a hoedown, line dance at a ball, and perform hot cross buns on a recorder, not if, but when the opportunity presents itself. Let's also remember the many trends that pass through our class. The viral Gangnam style dance, the whip, the nae-nae, and of course, the safety leg were hard to avoid. However, none of them could compete with Chantilly's annual dance, which remained a highlight of the talent show. And obviously, we can't forget NPE's entrepreneurial spirit. 3rd grade's Rainbow Loom Trading Block and 5th grade's prominent underground pillow market made their mark on the elementary school economy. The various colors, patterns, and shapes reflected our young creative minds that only foreshadowed our class's success through our time in Strath.
Finally, we have to mention our trip to Williamsburg, which, let's be real, SRS and West students are still envious of. For many, it was the first taste of independence. An adventure filled with homemade vanilla ice cream, bus dance parties, and maybe a little bit of learning. So, we've come a long way since those years filled with gas leaks, construction, and how could we forget grade-wide games of tag. The year 2023 may have seemed light years away as first graders, but here we are. Tomorrow, we'll be walking across a bridge, one that takes us into new waters. NPE class of 2016, we might be finishing our time in the district and going our separate ways, but if anyone ever feels lost, it may be comforting to remember the memories made at NPE, which was and always will be a great place to be. Thank you.
Merry and time. everyone, my name is Hassan.
And my name is Amaya. We are originally from Maryland, and I had the privilege of entering the A Better Chance program with my twin brother Hassan and completing my high school career with him by my side. Leaving home at 14 meant that we had to learn to be independent and fast. But at a young age, our parents made us recite this affirmation every morning. You are the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. So when the imposter syndrome kicked in, we were equipped with my mother's encouraging words that were stored in our hearts. Being an A Better Chance scholar reiterated these same ideals. As scholars, it was our responsibility to have our voices heard and not drown out in the commotion and chaos that can be high school. My brother and I are naturally introverted, but we always took those extra steps to engage in meaningful ways to excite the student body and advocate for diversity and inclusion. A quote I often found myself living by states that your comfort zone will kill you. Knowing this, I strive to find ways to rid myself of stage fright and to satisfy my love of the arts. I started out 9th grade in the marching band playing the flute, and every year I added another ensemble to my roster, knowing I would be able to handle it. Eventually, they each served their own purpose. The symphonic band was a source of tranquility, the wind ensemble challenged me in the most effective of ways, and the symphony orchestra reminded me that sometimes the flutes are felt and not heard. Or at least that's what Mr. P says. Music helped me build my confidence, and eventually, I led the dance team in performances for Black History Month, International Day, and much more, knowing there were small moments that would have a large impact. But my brother and I both agree that we wouldn't have engaged as much as we did if we hadn't housed with such a sophisticated group of teens throughout our high school years. Corey, Chisom, Aaliyah, Tegan, Chris, Makai, and Anderson were our friends that acted as siblings, all blessed with different gifts and all in different walks of life. Our backgrounds were so different that we often wondered how it was that we came to establish such a fun, chaotic, and family-like dynamic. Our movie nights, our long talks, our casino nights, our annual bake-off, our Halloween parties, our hot cocoa nights, and even stargazing together on the roof are times I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
We want to thank everyone who welcomed us into this community and into their homes over the last couple of years. The hospitality we received from this community was never taken for granted. During my time as a scholar, I came to recognize that my mistakes were just as valuable as my triumphs. I was challenged in all of my classes to go above and beyond to see the results I wanted to see. I was challenged to grow up a bit quicker since I did not return home to my mother every night, but talk to her through my phone. I was challenged to not categorize my experiences and the things I did as good or bad, but simply as experiences I should learn from. I was challenged to not attach my past mistakes to my identity and to live for myself and my family, not for others. I was challenged to not judge myself, for there were already plenty of others doing that, and to let go of what happened yesterday. In the beginning, in times I felt alone, I did not know what to do. I didn't understand that I was deserving of such grace that I don't often see people who look like me handed. But I later found that my peers and my best friends were the driving force I needed to keep going. The teachers who lifted me up and made me feel heard will always have a place in my heart. Surrounded by people that wanted to see me succeed, I was able to achieve my best foot forward in and out of the classroom. With our family and ABC behind us, we were able to persevere and finish high school knowing we did our best. Thank you.
state here in my bed. So we bought a pack of cigarettes, Mrs. Wagner pies, and walked off to look for America. I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh, Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It's only 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've come to look for America. Laughing all of us, playing games with the she said the man in the gallery was a smile. I said be careful, his bow tie's really on camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. We smoked the last one an hour ago. So I looked at the scenery. She read the magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. The ice so gentle, I knew she was sweet. I'm empty and angry and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. All come to look for America. All come to look for America.
Hi guys, so I'm gonna read a poem about 6th grade, mainly the grade that everybody fears, mainly the elementary schools who come into middle school, as we all remember. Middle school, a place that I thought would eat me alive. Soon enough, I was chewed, but I survived. And though I was battle-ridden and scared, I was thankful for 6th grade, the grade all kids feared. For all of its questions, bells, and stress, I knew, though I would be tired, I'd be prepared for what came next. For all of its talk of work and teachings, 6th grade, in its own way, was really entertaining. For I knew, no matter the seasons, 6th grade taught me to be confident in myself, no matter the reason.
In the realm of transformation, where dreams begin to soar, lies a land of middle school, where hopes and fears explore. In the 7th grade, where adolescence finds its sway, in this tender fleeting moment, we've come to learn and play. In this place of dreams, we find the 7th grade, a chapter of discovery where vibrant colors cascade. Between childhood and adolescence, a bridge we gently tread, hand in hand, we roam this path that lies ahead. Voyager or navigator, it does not seem to matter. We are here, present, climbing this ladder. To a place untold and filled with mystery. Thank God for Miss McGeary, how is teaching me history. In the hollowed halls of learning we gather bright and shy, new friendships waiting to bloom beneath this Canadian hazy sky. The lockers whisper secrets, shared between whispered breaths, as we navigate the maze of books, embracing our new quests. 7th grade, a chapter of growth, where we learn to spread our wings, running through this life with all the joy it brings. So let us celebrate this vibrant phase, the 7th grade's embrace, with hearts full of wonder and dreams that leave no trace. For in these halls of learning, we uncover treasures untold, preparing us for the journey. I heard 8th grade will be bold.
I know I did not go to middle school here, but I have a poem for you guys, so never fear. To write for 8th grade, they needed a guide, and with my experience in sonnets, I thought I'd give it a try. What else could have gotten me through my 8th grade year but juice-filled ballads blasting in my ear? I spent my nights binging Big Mouth Season 2 and experiencing middle school along that poorly animated crew. I kept a streak on Snapchat with my crush, and I would go even though going into school each morning was simply too much. But all the awkwardness was made worthwhile by adventures on roller coasters that brought a rare smile. At the end of an era, we crossed the bridge feeling relieved. 4 more long years of school is what we believe, but in the blink of an eye, we sit here today, and it seems all of our time has gotten away.
stepped into the unknown. The hallways seemed large, the numbers of new teachers overwhelming, and the upperclassmen countless. As we walked into orientation, we were met by the drumline and student council cheering us in as we awkwardly smiled and rushed into our seats waiting for the embarrassment to be over. Just as we thought we were in the clear, Justin Morris stepped on the stage to lead us in a roller coaster cheer. We all shyly followed his lead as the other seniors booed our lack of enthusiasm. On the first day of school, I remember walking the halls and the seniors felt like grown adults compared to us. Car keys in their hands, talking about Made in America and who was at Haven Hill as they walked down the Green Mile. I couldn't believe we were old enough to be in the same school. Realizing we had classes longer than 45 minutes and not knowing what to do with all the time was a shock to us all. Though we felt nervous and avoided eye contact at all costs, we were excited to embark on our high school journey. The understanding that freshmen sit in the back of the student section and the shame of Katie Koza wearing that bright orange t-shirt in a sea of white at the homecoming game against Marple set the stage for a humbling year. The football games were full of us cheering for the seniors, not even knowing when the freshman team's games were. We really had a good run, riding away in the trailers and watching our friends be forced to race at lunch. We would avoid the library at all costs after seeing the mice run around the front room and avoiding Miss Cohen's glare when she saw stickers on our Chromebooks. At the end of freshman year, we all feared that our siblings would become our only classmates, but within a year, we were back in school.
Sophomore year was by far the worst year of high school. The constant schedule changes and transitions back into Zoom school left us all in a perpetual state of confusion. Our memories from that year are probably a little hazy, just like it is out too soon. Looking back, we remember we were online or hybrid, but not the actual classes, and definitely none of the content. We remember the green light from Great Gatsby, and from Things Fall Apart, we remember nothing, apart from the yams. We weren't the only forgetful ones, because my sophomore teachers don't even remember me. In 10th grade, Quizlet and SparkNotes became our best friends because they were great study tools. We all miss asynchronous Wednesdays and the feeling of getting our permits and driving for the first time, but we rightfully blocked out the rest of sophomore year. Thankfully, we were back in person for junior year. Although being at home for the hardest year of high school probably would have been nice. Between struggling to maintain our grades and sitting in meetings with our guidance counselors, we had to face our future for the first time. It was scary, but we had plenty of distractions to help us power through. The football team had a great season, so Minnesota Rouser quickly became the marching band's best song. Homecoming was extra special that year, because we got to have it outside. Even though it was freezing, none of us needed our sweaters because of the massive mosh pit. The dance was so wild that there were hundreds of absences in the following weeks. The line for the nurse was around the corner, thanks to the homecoming plague. Olivia Coyle was actually patient zero, so... When we weren't sick, as soon as the bell for the lunch rang, people booked it to the lunch line for the free lunches. Justin B must really love lines, because I saw him there at least twice every day. The only bad part about lunch was sitting in the auditorium for half the time. We couldn't even eat, so all we wanted to do was just leave. The one place everyone wanted to be at was Galaboat's birthday bash. Sorry about those screen-in windows. As the year crept on, we all looked forward to our junior prom. Everyone was scrambling to find a dress and a date, but it all worked out. Besides the terrible music from DJ Leon and the bland food, we all had a great time. Sorry, Ben Ransom, you might have been voted best dressed, but you were outdone by Mr. Keaveney. Nothing beat his Strath Haven-themed suit. In June, we took our senior pictures and got our senior shirts. We all thought it was boring, so we colored in the 23 to make it our own. Together, we counted down the days until the seniors left. We couldn't wait to claim our rightful spots as the top dogs.
Senior year kicked off with the familiar thrill of football games and pep rallies, except this time we found ourselves at the front. We had always imagined submitting our college applications or figuring out where the next adventures in life would take us, but at the beginning of this year, we actually did. We orchestrated the silly shenanigans and the pep rallies, planned entertaining themes for games, and came together to cheer as a unified class. The enthusiasm lit up the gym when Nate Pinnell played Still Dre on the piano at our homecoming pep rally, which led us into a wonderful night. When leaving school, the senior parking lot was an experience. It had moments from cars cutting through the grass to avoiding the gross pumpkins that were on the ground for a month too long. Our grade had obviously had the classic experience that every grade has, but we also created our own. The school could always count on our grade to get a game of stickball going at lunch and having teachers watching outside their windows, Mr. McLaughlin even giving Owen the tennis balls he collected from each lunch. We had our annual Haven Heart Bob, when a memorable night with Archie's interesting talent, Mackenzie's graceful dance, the Ransom's wonderful band, the country singers featuring Chris's Sling, and of course, the award-winning Rihanna performance by Colin. Thanks to Asha and Dabney's hard work, we were able to make International Day bigger and celebrate more. It's also worth mentioning that we were the first class to have our senior assassin canceled. Thanks, Brent. Our grade has been through many amazing years of sports, and we get to end with baseball, who had their state game today. Congrats and good luck next week. The end of senior year is when the feeling really hits. We had our decision day and are now graduating tomorrow. We've peeled off the stickers on our Chromebooks and turned them in. The last few weeks were a bit of a struggle with senioritis, but now our final days in school and senior prom have actually happened. We have discussed these events over all 4 years, but no one could have felt it coming. Our grade has remained together, even though most of our years were spent apart. The memories will forever stay from watching or playing in the Chris King games or catching the football for Mr. Haney while walking to class. I know I'll see everyone during winter breaks and summers, and the nostalgic feeling will come. I'm grateful we were able to have our final year in person, and without a doubt, it has been the most remarkable year of my high school journey. Thank you all for the amazing memories that will follow us wherever the next chapter of our lives take us. I have loved my time at Strath High School and owe it to all of you here, so thank you all.
you and I were standing in the rain. Somewhere outside Atlanta, and I think my 12-seat band was right there out of frame. So it was before I knew my way around Los Angeles, before I ever cared about nice neighborhoods. We were driving through the night, sleeping on hotel floors, thinking that we had it good. We were kids back then, thinking we would live together. We were kids back then. We were wild and free, taking on the world together. We were kids back then. That's how we're always gonna be. Holding baby Jane. I lean in to take a picture when it hits me. In 20 years I will look back and say, we were kids back then, thinking we were kids back then. You and me.
Roses are red. We're here at Commemoration, anxiously waiting our summer vacation. Just because we are taking different paths doesn't remove the experiences this class has shared. Like the bioaccumulants from the water fountain, the memories of good times will stay with us forever.
As we move past this, though, we wish you all whatever form of greatness you aspire to in life. But whether you're traveling the world, the President of the United States, or you're the next Taylor Swift, remember, the truest parameter of success is measured in how often you donate to your alma mater. Though an unknown future can be scary, we can find comfort in the fact that we can always find the SRS kids unpacking their teacher trauma, the galloping in the fields, and dolphinately the NPE kids in the splash zone at SeaWorld.
Upon reflection, I think we've learned that all of our roads will lead to success, home is the place to be, and we are the best. Strath Haven, you have serenaded us, but we're at the time of our swan song.
It's time to say goodbye.
Bid you all adieu.
We've made great memories here.
And learned some stuff, too.
Thank you to our teachers, our parents, our coaches, and our friends for coming and supporting us today and every day throughout the last 12 years. Students, don't forget to pick up your carnation to give as a final token of gratitude for those whose hands have led us through this experience. Good luck in all your future endeavors and have a lovely night.